So we're here in Stanley Park, and today we have been removing invasive burdock. Burdock, you've probably seen this. It comes up with those burrs that stick all over you, your clothes, your shoes, your hair. It can also trap birds, so it can be a bit of a death trap for some birds. It's not a native plant, and it is a biennial, which means that the first year it won't seed, but the second year it will, and it comes up with this huge stalk, and like I said, those burrs are on the bottom. So what we did today is we concentrated on some of the larger second year plants, which would have flowered later this year, and removed them. Now, if you are in the neighborhood and you want to help out with this project, there's a couple of invasives you can remove on your own, and burdock is one of them. You will need a shovel. Even for small stuff, because burdock is a pretty tenacious plant. Even the small ones, the taproots can go down a meter or more. Always best to dig roots out in after a rainstorm, because the rain helps to loosen up the soil. So here's a small burdock that we're going to remove, and I'll show you how to do it. So first things first, make sure that you have the right plant. So we'll take a nice close look at the leaf. It's almost a bit of a heart-shaped leaf, and it's a bit on the fuzzy side. So when you rub it between your thumb and fingers, it's kind of leathery. It's a fairly thick leaf. In fact, when it grows really, really big, and if you run out of foil, you can actually wrap your fish or your meat and chuck it on the barbecue. Wrap it up with these leaves. It has these red stems, and there's usually several of them. So sometimes you have to sort of clear away a little bit to see exactly where the root bed is. And then you take your trusty shovel, comme ça, and dig down. Now, a lot of times you're probably going to break the root, which in a place like this, we're going to be back and forth here a lot, so we're not going to worry too much about getting out every single one. But as you can see, we got one with some of the roots on, and most of this stuff will die if you just sort of keep the roots off of the ground. But we are bagging this because it is an invasive species, and it'll be solarized, which basically means we bake it in black plastic in the sun until it's dead. And we can either then send it to landfill, or we can actually reuse this as mulch. So yeah, that's one thing that you can do with burdock. Now, there's a couple of other species that if you're walking are even easier to pull out, and I will do a couple of extra videos on those, and so you can check out those once they're up. But let's just take a little bit of a wander around. So very fortunate this morning, this columbine attracted a hummingbird, and when I first arrived there was a barn swallow. Also, the nice thing about when we're taking out the burdock is that we are noticing how much common milkweed is actually in here. So that's a good sign. So here we have a nice little clump of them right here. So here's some young milkweeds. Nice to have some more burdock. Again, we'll be taking that out. A lot of what you see here, these larger plants, let me see, let's get you a nice big clump. These are mostly goldenrods, so they will grow 7, 8, 9 feet tall, even taller. This is yarrow, this lovely frondy stuff, and this is the native yarrow. So that comes up with a beautiful white flower, and the flower is about 4 or 5 feet at least, possibly taller depending on where you are. So this place is already filled quite well with a lot of goldenrods and other native species, and we will be filling in with more come fall. So that is burdock in a nutshell. I'll put some resources in the description below so that you have even more information, and anytime you're here, please give us a hand, and if not, get in touch. Cheers.